Hello, welcome to Frank's School. Fifth year, first video. This is the beginning of my 5th year of Frank's School online. And I had said in this video here, I'll maybe give you a link for it. I did more discussion of what's going on here, but I'd said that I'd thought about not even stopping now and not going on to a 5th year, but I'm going to go on to a 5th year. But it's going to be very different, as I said here. I think I'm going to think of this as building Frank's School, not online, but the physical plant of the actual school. That, I think, will be the main subject of this year. Although there'll be others. But it's going to be outside, it's going to be hands-on. I've got so many projects that are going on, and I think they're interesting. If I didn't think they were interesting, I wouldn't put them on just to support my ego. I think there's things to be learned. So that will be the main thing. It's not going to be so academic in the past. I think it still will be academic, because that whole concept of Renaissance man, which I explored in the first year, or taught about in the first year, I still stick to it. I mean, a carpenter can certainly still be a musician and can be a scholar, certainly. But the thrust of this year is going to be hands-on, building, I think. Toward that end, coming up, I'm going to do some baselines, I'm calling them, because there are certain projects that over the course of this next year things should change dramatically. One of them's already online. I already put it there as the 5th year, first day, second video, even though in real time it's there before this one. And that's the huts. There are 8 2/2 huts that I'm going to be building. I look rough. As a matter of fact, the huts look rough too. But I don't mind what you see, that it looks that rough, because this is a baseline. That's where I'm starting. I look so rough partly because it was so hot, I was so tired, I was dirty, I was sweaty. The bugs were bothering me, so I certainly don't look my best, but that's all right. Anyway, that will serve as a baseline, a start. The Gasthaus, that's German for guest house, Gasthaus, very soon, maybe tomorrow. Second day, I'll put a baseline on for that, because that's going to change dramatically. T.H. Hall, Thomas Hockling Hall. I've already done a lot of work on that, but there's a lot more work to do. And so that's going to be one of the major things to watch over the course of the year. I forgot to put a blacksmith shop. I need to finish out my blacksmith shop and get it going. That's going to be pretty much for sure. But I also have 2 windmills that I'd like to build, water wheels, various ones. I can't even tell you how many. Ultimately on this, in Frank's School, there'll be maybe 20. But this year, by the end of this coming year, maybe 3 more. 2 chimneys. 2 chimneys to build. Yeah. 4 timber frame buildings. Now they may wait. I think I'm going to I'll store them. I think I'm going to store them and protect them, but they'll be for the next year, because timber framing is really kind of a different art from what I'm going to be doing mostly this year. So we'll see. But anyway, they're waiting there. So as I said, this is not going to be so academic. I now have 3 men who help me a few hours each week. Andy, he works with me. Adam, he works with me a few hours, and a man named Chuck he's an engineer, and he's recently become interested, and he helps me a little bit too with drawing and stuff. Also, I now have potentially some apprentices, and that is so thrilling to me, because an apprentice is like a student in a way, and I am a teacher. As I've said before, I was born to be a teacher, I think. And I love to teach as I'm building. And so this video right here it's actually filmed by a young fellow named Matthew, who so he wants to be an architect. And I had said to him, well, you know, you might think about learning to be a carpenter before you become an architect, because most architects don't go that route, but it would make sense. And he's real interested, and so is at least one of his brothers. So I've got apprentices. That's so exciting for me, or one anyway. Sort of. Shirley has always been my apprentice. She's my biggest help of all, you know, from the very start. The whole Frank School only really exists because of Shirley Hockling, who lives in Germany. I have the material to build all these things, mostly. I have the place to do these things. I don't have very much money to work with, but I have a little. Enough that I can go to a sawmill and each week maybe buy $50 worth of lumber. And it doesn't really take too much because I already have so much material. I don't have any plans. By plan, I have plans, but they're not written. They're not drawn out like an architect draws a plan. You build according to the plan. I don't have them. It's a little bit more like sculpture. That's the case. Now, the way I build, what I'm building, and especially the way I build, is so different. That's why I think it's worth it for me to do this. I don't purposely try to build things differently. I feel that I build things logically, trying to spend as little money as possible, trying to recycle as much as possible. And I have traveled far and wide, and I've seen a lot of different things. And so it's very different, and I'll be teaching about that. Now, if you, the prospectus plural, that are online, maybe I'll give you a link in the description back to the prospectus playlist, the most recent one, if you're interested and you want to see, well, what's all this stuff he's going to try to do? Already outdated in some ways, even though it was less than a year ago. If you go and look at this video, I give a more, see, that was the 4th year, 148th day first video. That was only actually, maybe 6 days ago. There I explain a little bit more about what I'm doing. And then finally, I'm going to be doing 2 things at a time. I'm going to be finishing out the 4th year. Portugal, water are my subjects here. And I have begun the 5th year. Anyone who knows me well realizes I don't do well when I'm doing more than one thing at a time. But in this case, I think I should, because there's just so much going on about the building right now that I think I should not wait. I should at least get the baselines online. Well, the 5th year has begun. Bye for now.